not a game, it's a rich thing.
Hey y'all, this is Tasha. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping in today. If you keep coming back here, if you're not new here, if you keep watching the video, are you subscribed? Because you should be subscribed if you are not already subscribed. You also should be thumbsing up the video, and you also should be commenting in the comment section below. All of this stuff is free 99. You don't got to pay to do none of it. So go ahead, take a second or two and just do all of that, okay? We are here to review and talk about Ready to Love Season 8, Episode 8, okay, y'all? So we just going to jump right into the episode. And I'm just going to say, I feel like I say this every episode, but it just be a whole lot going on in one episode. I don't want the episode to be longer than an hour because an hour is good enough for me. But also it feels like we miss a lot of context. We miss a lot of things that be happening that when they come together and talk, we like, well, who said that? That's how I be feeling half of the episode, because I just don't get enough information on what the heck is happening and how are these people connecting, because I'm missing the dots here. Okay, just a little bit. But anyway, the episode opens with the ladies coming into the ladies' lounge. There are 6 ladies left. They're going to send one of the men home this week. They talk about the meetings they had with the exes of the men last week. And this week, Tommy lets them know that the men will be meeting with their best friends, because of course their best friend knows everything about them. So this will hopefully get some insight hopefully share some insight about their potential partners. So Lee says the fact that the men are meeting her friends this early is a major plus, and she is here for it. And I just have to say, now Lee, we know she's a trainer, so her body is body yada 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 yada, and I'm not mad at it. And she had on this gorgeous dress with this real high slit, honey, and I love me a good thigh action happening. But Tommy commented on it one too many times, and the way he was looking at her was like, sir, I know she is beautiful, but you are married, and I'm gonna need you to keep your eyes to yourself, okay? So first up is Kat, and it's her friend Allie, who to me could have done a little bit better to be on TV. She initially reminded me of, if y'all watch Swarm on, I think it was Amazon Prime, she reminded me of the girl who played in Swarm, of how she kind of looked and was behaving a little bit, just in my opinion. But anyway, her friend is meeting her 2 potential connections, who are Herbert and Phil. So first up, one that shows up is Phil, and they get up and they're like, she's Kat, I'm Allie. Together we're Alley Cats. Girl, we can go the rest of our life and don't hear it again. Y'all don't do that no more, okay? We too old for that, all right? Phil says that it was great that, she opened up to him. Her friend asks, how is he on communication, because Kat is big on that. And she wonders if he can meet the expectation. We already know he can't, because they talking about the receipts of Phil saying who has responded the last time. And it's like, you didn't respond to my text. You didn't respond to my text. We see the receipts. It was actually Phil at fault. And then we see Herbert show up, and Allie asks, how he feels about another man being on a date. And he's like, we be kicking it, so it's not a big of a deal as people may think. So we know the guys get along way more than the ladies get along with one another. So Allie then asks Herbert what separates him from the other guys. And Herbert says, I'm just me. It's just me. Okay, Herbert. Phil says he basically wants to keep things exciting for his potential partner. That's what separates him. Allie asks if Kat gets pregnant to Phil, would he tell her, she didn't have to work? Would he take care of things? He basically said, they would have to discuss it. Phil has to end up leaving early to go pick up his son from after school. So now it's just Herbert on the date. Herbert then has some questions for Allie, and he asks her, why is Kat still single? Allie says that she just hasn't found someone on her level. She says she needs someone secure in their future. And I'm like, girl, you're not really saying anything. So what is it that she actually wants? Herbert doesn't think this is a good enough answer. I don't really think it's a good enough answer, because it's not really telling us anything, okay? It's just really vague at this point. Allie asks what other connection he has. He says Lee, Kat, and Janelle are his connections. And he even admits Kat is not his top choice. I was like, we all know that. We don't know why you here, but here we are. But I'm glad you were being honest with the friend. So the girls talk after he leaves, and she says that she thinks Philip is better for her, and Kat says she feels the opposite, because really Philip has been pretty stagnant with her and he needs to come in harder. That's because, again, none of these men are feeling you, Kat. They think you're beautiful, but there's no connection here romantically. And then she says that Herbert is a ladies' man. And Kat acts like, I have not noticed that until she said it. And then now I see it. That's because y'all don't have a connection. Y'all do not be out here talking for real, for real. Girl, stop it. And I'm like, Herbert is a ladies' man for who? For what ladies? Not no ladies I probably know. Let me know if y'all know what ladies Herbert is a ladies' man for, okay? So next up is Aries. She is introducing Phil and Chris to her two friends, Lacey and Stephanie, who she has known for quite a few years now. Philip is nervous because, of course, he really likes Aries, so he really wants to put his best foot forward. So on the other side of town, we see Janelle is with her friend Quinn, and she will be meeting Quentin and Herbert. Herbert is feeling some kind of way that Quentin is here, but he walks in with a gift, and he gives it to her, and he's like, it's just some self-care things in there. Herbert, I don't know why you feel any kind of way, because you know that is her other connection on this show, okay? Back over to Aries. Stephanie is asking Chris what he likes about her, and he says that she has a naturally calming and peaceful aura. Phil says really it's her love for the Bay Area music. Phil, really? You couldn't find nothing else to say but that? Nothing else to say but that? Lacey asks how he feels about being with an ambitious woman, and he says he loves it because he's really had to reinvent himself a few times with his career. Back on the other side with Janelle, her friend asks what the men like about her, and Herbert says she's a whole thug out here. Well, that didn't age well with everything that's going on with social media present day now, did it, huh? He says, but she is sweet sometimes. Quentin says she is really driven, and that can be a lot for some people, but that is not a lot for him, honey. I said, okay then, Quentin, this sounds good, but I don't know if I necessarily believe you, okay? I'm back with Aries. Stephanie asks where Chris is as far as his stance on family and if he's kind of the traditional with the men taking care of the bills. Chris says he thinks a man should take care of everything financially, but of course, if she wants to work, she is free to work. And then the date is basically over with them, and we don't see much else. Again, I feel like these episodes just have a lot going on where we really don't get into the meat of what is happening. Anyway, Stephanie says that she likes Chris more because his answers were deeper, and Lacey says that Chris really has a vision. Lacey says she isn't sure about that Phil is going to be able to keep up with her, and her friend Stacy says that she really has some things to consider because she sees why she likes him, but basically she ain't seeing it for him. And Aries does admit that Chris may be more aligned with her trajectory, which that's interesting to me because I feel like her and Phil just have really been hitting it off and really feeling each other, that I don't know if maybe Phil was just nervous being around the friends and his nerves got the best of him, but I still don't see Aries really choosing Chris. I just don't feel like he gives her that manly energy that she is looking for. So Janelle friend Quinn asks where Quentin is with kids and marriage. Quinn starts to go around the mulberry bush with his question about, this is something that I seek. I just don't date to date. I'm dating for marriage. She was like, sir, actually about the timeline. Where are you with the timeline of things? He says he is ready as soon as possible. Herbert says they'll have to talk about the timeline because, he doesn't move fast. We know slow, turtle, moving, sloth, moving, Herbert, acting like we are all 25 and we got years and years and years to be dating out here. Like, why is you moving so slow, Herbert? Like, you just give me the vibes that you just don't want to settle down. Like, you want somebody to push out some kids for you because you want children, but I don't feel like you are actually ready to settle down. I don't get it. But again, the date is over just that fast, and it's another date where we don't see a lot of information. They talk about, the guys after they leave. Her friend says that she likes Quentin more, but she really wants to see more passion from him, and she don't see it for Herbert at all, honey. But she says if she had to choose today, she would say Quentin, and then if things didn't work out, you can go ahead over there to Herbert. I was like, wow. So we just gonna keep, Herbert on warm. He just gonna be, the pilot light is just gonna be on for Herbert, just in case, today, tomorrow, a month, a year, 10 years from now, things don't work out with Quentin, you can go fall back on Herbert. Girl, stop it. We then see Lee at home with an amazing fruit spread, honey. I saw that fruit and I immediately was like, man, I want some fruit, okay? Her friend Muffin comes over and I said, Muffin, what is her government name? We could really use her government name here on the television, okay? But she is meeting with Quentin. After Lee tells her that Quentin got muscles on top of muscles, she says, I just really need her to ask all the questions that I need to know, because I really need her to kind of give it to him, and I need to hear these answers that he got to say. Quentin shows up and he says he really wants the person that he is dating to have as much fun, with their friends as they do with him. So their date is getting started. We then see Sierra is on a date, and she introduces Morier and Herbert to her two friends, Olivia and Delton. And again, stop playing in our face with these connections, because when, how, where, especially with Herbert, like what? Girl, stop. Herbert says he is shocked to see Morier on this date since he didn't know they were connected. Child, we are shocked to see you on this date, because at least we know her and Morier, they've been going back and forth the whole time. Again, still only see friend zone vibes. I see nothing romantic between the two of them, but I thought whatever it was with Herbert was non-existent in my opinion, okay? Back over with Lee, Muffin tells Quentin that, Lee, she's the type of girl that she'll have fun when we go out, but, she don't get too wild. Muffin seems to be the opposite, so they seem to balance each other well out for being friends, because Muffin want to be outside and Lee want to be on the inside, okay? Morier then tells Sierra friends that it's her looks and mental that he really likes about her. Herbert says that she is just a lot of fun and they have great chemistry. Muffin over with Lee asks Quentin how he feels about her being her own brand outside of him, and he says he's fine with that. He's still in his first year being an entrepreneur, but he'll still take the time, because Muffin was like, I think you'll be busy. And he was like, yeah, but I'll make the time. Lee says she is not happy with Muffin right now, because Muffin is not going in on Quentin how she wanted him to go in, and she must be distracted by all his muscles. And low-key, I was like, Muffin, do you like Quentin for yourself, honey? Because I don't know. I wasn't getting the vibes that I'm going to grill you for my friend. It's like, he kind of fine. Like, that's the vibe I was getting from Muffin, okay? So over with Sierra, Delton asks Morier where he is with his timeline. And Morier is like, honey, nothing past a year. Like, by the time a year comes up, we should know what we want to do as far as marriage, family, all that stuff. As far as Herbert with the timeline, we already know where he is at. There's really no need to rehash, because he don't have a timeline, okay? So Lee and Muffin, they talk after Quentin leave, and Lee says she isn't sure if they are really compatible long-term outside of kind of just the getting to know each other. But she was like, I still didn't get no further insight, because Muffin didn't get the questions out here that she needs to ask. And I'm like, Lee, if you got questions for this man, girl, open your mouth and ask him. We do not need a friend to intervene. Use your words and ask this man whatever questions you need answered at this point. Like, stop wasting time. So Delton tells Sierra that Morier is more husband material and Herbert is more fun, but she says she really needs to dig deeper, and she says that Morier actually does stimulate her mind more than Herbert. Next up, we see Jessica with her friends Tony, and I think her name was pronounced Inyala, to meet Chris and Morier. And I'm like, we already know, Jessica, you and Chris is not hitting it. So why do we even have Chris on this date? Like, you and Morier, again, have kind of done this back and forth dance. So him coming, cool. But I feel like you and Chris just ain't on the same page at all. But anyway, both of the guys show up. We get all the pleasantries out of the way. And Morier brought her a candle as a gift, a little peace offering, because he apologizes for how the date went with his ex. He's like, I'm not apologizing for, how I feel, myself, and what I believe in. But, just that we just didn't discuss that sooner. And I thought that was nice for Morier to attempt to smooth that over with her. So Chris is asked about the wife qualities that he sees in Jessica, and he's sitting there like, Again, these two don't see it for each other. Why are we here? Why are we here? But he says he's attracted to her physically, and then he says he really wants his wife to be able to communicate in these romantic ways. And then his friends is like, her friends are like, so like the softer side, and he's like, yeah, we've heard him say this 1,000 times already about Jessica. That's just not who she is, so let's move on. You can't make her something that she is not. Morier, on the other hand, says that's really what turns me on about Jessica, about her being really strong. And I like that in the woman. Morier talks about his experience in therapy and says, you know, how that really helped with the passing of his dad, him really getting to know each other. And then they ask Chris if he's in therapy. He's like, yeah, I go virtually. I ain't really believe Chris that he's currently in therapy. I don't know. I just didn't believe it. Anyway, they both have to leave, and the friends like Morier better because he really gave direct answers, and they think that Chris just talks about this ideal state of a woman, but not necessarily who she currently is and what she's currently giving to him. And I do agree with them on that. But Jessica says, you know, she is more connected with Morier because his words and his actions are in alignment. But with Chris, there are a lot of things that are not in alignment. So she's agreed that at this time it's probably best for them to split. And we all agree that this should have happened many, many episodes ago. I'm just wondering if she's actually going to have this conversation with him and tell him that they just need to explore whatever other connections that they have here on this TV show because they're not here for each other. So we see the ladies meet back up at the ladies' lounge to discuss the dates this week. Lee talks about the date with Quentin and how her friend Muffin just gave him a pass all over the place. Janelle says her dates went well and her friend liked Quentin more, and she said Herbert could not be trusted, and the other ladies who went on a date with Herbert was like, same girl. Jessica says that the date with Chris went well and her friends really like Morier. Sierra said that her friend said Herbert wants to be a freak essentially, and Morier is more husband material. Ari talks about her date and said that Chris was a very opposite on their date than he was with Jessica, as far as kind of just not being deep and giving these, you know, kind of general answers. And that's because Jessica and Chris don't really see it for each other. Kat says that Allie likes Phil's energy and she thinks Phil would be great for someone, just not her. And again, Allie did not trust Herbert as well and told her friend she needed to keep looking around. We all agree. Nobody is here for you, Kat, okay? So the guys, basically, I feel like all the guys are on the bottom this week because there's only 5 of them left. Janelle says that Chris holds grudges and she doesn't think he handles being challenged well. I do agree. I think he just wants a woman to get along, to go along with whatever he says. And I don't really see that for any of these ladies here. I mean, I know he really likes Aries and Aries is very calming and nurturing to him, but I still don't see her being the type to just be like, oh, whatever you say, whatever you like, that's fine with me. I'll do that. Yes, sir. Like, I just still don't see that for her either. But Tommy lets them know that he has a curve for them and tells the ladies that they need to get close because they're going to be going on a ready to love getaway, child. So after this whole elimination date this time, pack y'all bags because all of y'all going on a getaway together. So as the episode wraps up, we see Aries on an elimination date with Chris. And child, he is just excited to be on a date with Aries. I'm like, you don't see that you possibly going home, sir? Huh? And then we see Kat going out with Herbert, and he says he's suspicious because he know they have already met at the lounge, so he's unsure what's happening. At this point, we know Chris is going to stay. Herbert is going to go. Like, that's just the vibes I was getting. But we're going to go ahead and play along, okay? Kat tells him, you know, that Allie thought he was slick and asks if, you know, he was just a player. Aries tells Chris that the lady says he hasn't been really clear or direct. And Kat tells Herbert that none of the women really know where he stands. Chris said that he's been honest and transparent the whole time, and he really hopes the ladies can look in the mirror to really see what connections they have. And I definitely feel like that was shots fired at Jessica. Herbert says he really enjoys people. He's just naturally curious and just into what people are, into who people are, and I guess that's why he's saying why he just kind of is just kicking it and cool with everybody and really doesn't go deep, I guess. Anyway, they tell Chris that he is ready for love and Herbert is not. Herbert says he has showed up 100% himself and that's all he could give, and he is still ready for love and he is still in search of it, honey. That's how the episode ends this week. We see that next week we finally see where the turn happened with Janelle and Kat and why they are arguing online in this current present day today, because things are just going to get a little bit ugly. So I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what happens next week to really get them popping the way they have. I mean, we know Janelle has already got a little bit of an attitude, so it probably won't take much, but hopefully next week gives us a little bit more spice, and hopefully it'll be calmed down a little bit since it's just going to be the guys and the girls and we don't have any extra parties inside of the episode, okay? But let me know what y'all thought about the episode in the comment section below. I will catch y'all on the next one. Peace.